To get a sense of what these soldiers have gone through, we spent some time here in Killeen, Texas, home to Fort Hood, the largest Army base in the U.S. It's where Chuck Luther's story begins. In 2004, Chuck Luther, then 34 years old, re-enlisted in the Army and was sent to Iraq as a combat scout.
We go before everybody else, so we're actually sneaking in, undercover night, things like that, watching the enemy when he doesn't know we're watching.
In Iraq, the deadly reality of war hit hard. 4 soldiers in his unit, including a close friend, died in an IED blast. Then a boat mission on the Tigris River went terribly wrong. In a chaotic fight, 3 were wounded, 1 died. It was an emotional blow, but Luther knew as a soldier he couldn't show it.
I was told, you can't show emotion for these guys. You gotta suck it up. I mean, these guys are hurting, and you're gonna have to take care of them.
Soon after, Luther came home for 2 weeks' leave to see his family in Texas, but he didn't realize he brought the war with him. Luther would wake up at night shouting for his life. He became angry, sometimes violent, all symptoms of PTSD.
I would punch things. I'd punch walls. I ended up breaking my hand while I was on leave. I left war healthy, physically, and went back with a broken hand.
Luther went back to Iraq. He knew something was wrong with him, but wouldn't get help.
You just know that you don't go ask for help for mental health because you lose security clearances. They look down on you. I thought, well, I'm old enough. I can deal with it. It'll pass.
In May 2007, Luther was stationed at a guard tower in Taji. Suddenly, a mortar exploded, and he was knocked to the ground.
I had this horrible headache. I couldn't see real good. I was nauseous. I had this clear fluid coming out of my nose. My ear was just ringing.
He was treated after the explosion, but his medical records show that over the next few weeks, Luther kept going back to the doctors, complaining of chest pains, shortness of breath, flashbacks, anxiety. But the doctors who checked him out said not only was he fine, he was faking his symptoms. They claimed he was using the medical system to get out of work.
I've never once in my military career been in trouble. I've never lied. I've never faked an injury, never malingered, as they called it.
He was given medications to calm his nerves, but Luther says things just got worse.
I was starting to lose it at that point, and I didn't understand why. It was really scary.
What happened to Luther is shocking. Doctors insisted that Chuck Luther's problems had nothing to do with the war. After 12 years of service, Luther was diagnosed with a personality disorder, a pre-existing mental illness.
The mental physician said, "Sergeant, they're going to chapter you out with a 513 personality disorder. Is that what you want?" And I said, "Sir, I don't know what I want at this point. I want somebody to help me. I don't want the dreams. I want to be a soldier. I want to do my job."
But Luther says the doctors wouldn't help him. Out of sheer desperation to get out of Iraq, he signed the discharge. Luther didn't realize that meant he would have to pay the Army back $13,000 in bonuses, and that he would lose all of his disability benefits. He arrived home to Texas alone and without fanfare, waiting in the rain for his wife to pick him up. His career as a soldier was over.
So that was my hero's welcome home. That was given of my life, 12 years to the Army. That's what I got.
Andrew Pogany is helping Chuck Luther fight his wrongful discharge. A former soldier, Pogany successfully fought the Army to have his own discharge overturned. He's now an investigator for the National Veterans Legal Services Program.
It gives me an opportunity to continue to serve and continue to live up to the values, leave no fallen comrade behind.
Pogany has worked on over 200 cases of wrongful discharges.
When the soldier signs on the dotted line and commits to service to this country, that commitment comes with the understanding that if something happens to us, that we will be taken care of.
After examining Luther's records, Pogany is convinced he doesn't have a pre-existing personality disorder. He says, just look at the standard definition, a mental illness that begins in, quote, adolescence or early adulthood. On top of that, Luther says he was given a mental health screening 8 times during his 12 years of service, and each time given a clean bill of health. We asked the Army's top psychiatrist, Colonel Elspeth Ritchie, for some answers. How is it that the Army can have these soldiers that the Army has already screened, and then after 12 years of service, is suddenly diagnosed with a personality disorder?
The case that you are discussing sounds highly unusual to me.
Colonel Ritchie would not comment on any specific case, but she said that sometimes soldiers slip through the screening process.
Sometimes we don't know everything about a soldier. Sometimes a soldier doesn't tell us everything, and the problems may not become apparent until after they've been in for 6 months or a year.
But 12 years? Colonel Ritchie admits discrepancies occur.
I can't say that everything happened right every time, but I will say that if there was a mistake that was made, there are mechanisms by which soldiers can go back and have their cases reviewed.
Luther says those mechanisms are not easy to figure out. Misinformed about the process, he missed a crucial window of time to appeal his case.
Hey, Chuck. How you doing, Josh?
Out of frustration, Luther contacted a reporter. Joshua Kors had written a groundbreaking story for The Nation magazine about the thousands of personality disorder discharges in the military.
Soldiers who were wounded and denied care through these fraudulent discharges, they started contacting me. And in February, that's what happened with Chuck. He wrote me a letter.
Kors helped Chuck Luther get in touch with advocates to work on his case.
The fact that these guys are coming to me it's bizarre, it's sad, but I think a lot of these guys just don't know where to go.
Kors' investigation also revealed that these discharges save the military a lot of money. Remember, the Army doesn't have to pay disability for personality disorder discharges. Kors wrote that across the entire armed forces, they could be saving upwards of $8 billion. Reporting from Kors and others triggered a bipartisan effort led by Democratic Senator Barack Obama and Republican Kit Bond, demanding that the Pentagon investigate these discharges. That report, released just this week, recommends new policies that include corroborating the personality disorder diagnosis and addressing PTSD before discharging soldiers.